Why did Keynesian and classical economists disagree on ad-as shifts? Imagine two groups looking at the same economy but seeing it very differently. That's what happened with Keynesian and classical economists when they debated how shifts in aggregate demand and aggregate supply affect the economy. It all comes down to their views on how markets adjust, how flexible wages and prices are, and what role the government should play. Classical economists believe markets are self-correcting and flexible. They think that in the long run, the economy operates at full employment, no matter what happens to aggregate demand. They see the aggregate supply curve as vertical, meaning that changes in demand only change prices, not the amount of goods and services produced. Wages and prices are quick to adjust, so any dip or rise in demand just affects inflation, not real output or employment. Because of this, classical economists trust that markets will fix themselves over time with little government interference. On the other hand, Keynesian economists see things differently. They believe wages and prices are sticky or slow to change, especially downward. This means the short-run aggregate supply curve slopes upward or can be flat in some areas. When demand shifts, it can impact real output and employment because prices and wages don't adjust fast enough. Keynesians argue that the economy can stay below full capacity for a long time due to these rigidities. So, if demand drops, it can cause unemployment to rise, and if demand increases, it can boost output and jobs. They support active government policies like spending and tax cuts to stimulate demand during downturns. This disagreement also relates to their beliefs about the relationship between supply and demand. Classical economics aligns with Say's law, which says supply creates its own demand. That means if you produce goods, demand will naturally follow. Keynesian economics follows Keynes' law, which states that demand creates its own supply. If demand is weak, it can cause a prolonged period of unemployment and unused capacity. The core differences are about the shape of the short-run aggregate supply curve, vertical for classical and upward sloping or flat for Keynesian, and how quickly wages and prices adjust. Classical economists see shifts in aggregate demand as mainly causing inflation, while Keynesians see them as affecting output and employment. They also differ on how much the government should intervene. Classical prefer limited interference, trusting markets to fix themselves, while Keynesians support active policies to manage economic fluctuations. These contrasting views shape how each school of thought approaches economic problems and policy decisions during business cycles.